Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby of Shelby and the Book Club, and in today's video we are going to be talking about a book that I recently read that I really enjoyed, but I do have some thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys. So if you would like to hear it, here it go. So, I recently read Shallow Waters by Anika Kopax. I believe that's how you pronounce that. If I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. But that's what I see there. And this wasn't in my TBR for the month. I actually went to the bookstore and this was like, psst, psst, come here. Come closer, take me home. That's what this book did to me. I hadn't heard about it. Went in there for something completely different and I ended up leaving with this. And it's a fairly short read. It was 211 pages or something like that. 202 pages actually, my bad. And when I read the synopsis said that it was about Yemaya, the Orisha. So Yemaya is a African deity from the Yoruba tribe of Nigeria. I think. I think I got that correct. I don't know much about the actual story of Yemaya, but I know that she is often depicted as a mermaid, and it's said that she kind of traveled over with the slaves that were brought from Africa during the Atlantic slave trade. So I immediately was like, oh, I've got to have this. Like, I've got to read this. And then like reading the story, reading the synopsis, it just pulled me in. I was like, okay, I have to have this. And I literally read this book like in a day and a half. Flew through it, very easy read. So that's a good thing. So how the story starts is Yemaya is a mermaid. She lives with her mom and her dad. It's her birthday. And she had swam up to the shore and saw this boy. He was fishing with these other men and they were very fascinated by each other. And she was so busy staring at him that she gets caught in the net. He cuts her out and tells her to kind of shoo away so that she doesn't get captured. And she does. But then from there on out, they have this, relationship is like dramatic to use. It wasn't a relationship. It was a lot of like, she would stare at him and he would stare back. They didn't really interact with each other because she was a mermaid. But then her parents disappear. So she's kind of raising herself. And one day she goes up to shore. She figures out his name is Obatala. And she sees as the slave catchers come to capture Obatala and his tribe, and she doesn't necessarily understand what's going on, and she witnesses all of this scary emotional stuff that happened during the Atlantic slave trade. So she attaches herself to the ship and travels over with him to America, but then as they're taken off of the ship and sold, she remembers that her mother told her that she had the option to become human. So she did what she had to do to become human, which was cocoon herself. And then when she comes to, she's with this tribe of people that are, I believe they were Native American. It wasn't really clear. I kind of assumed that they were African, but then reading into the book, it made me realize that maybe they were Native American. So she is with them and they know who she is, right? And this was one of the things about the book that I didn't necessarily understand, so to say. It was, I don't know. I was just like, how is she this deity? Like, she has all of this power, but everyone else knows who she is except for her. So she she tells them what she's doing, right? Like, she's just like, okay, I'm looking for Obatala. Do you guys know who Obatala is? I'm looking for him, because she's like, this is the love of my life. And they are like, we understand what your mission is. We know why you're here. We're here to help you. So this in turn throws her into the South during slavery, and she kind of goes through all of these missions. Not necessarily, maybe missions is the wrong thing to say, but she goes through all of these events trying to get to Obatala, right? Like, she's like, I'm just here trying to find the love of my life. But she is a black woman, of course, so everyone thinks that she's a slave. Some people know who she is. What I really enjoyed about the book is that she interacts with a lot of people throughout history. And I do that around the interacts because obviously this is a fiction, so this stuff didn't actually happen, you know? But in the story, it's not an accurate timeline, but there is a timeline in the book to show like when the people that she interacted with were alive, who they were, so on and so forth. So for example, she interacts with Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Cynthia Hesdra, Matilda Jocelyn Gage, Richard Dillingham, Ralph Waldo Emerson, all at different times or whatever the case may be. So she's a part of the Underground Railroad as she's trying to get north to Obatala. There's an incident where oh my gosh, it's a white butterfly. It was outside my window. There was an instance where she was captured by this really, really bad slave owner, and they tried to kill her, but they put her in the water, and because she's part mer, the water enhances her powers. Ultimately, she finds Obatala, and unfortunately, he doesn't survive, but it's all a part of the bigger picture. And what it made me realize, or what it made me think about, was what if gods aren't just these higher powers that we worship, but what if they are actually just people who have lived their life and learned all of these lessons and are now trying to guide us through similar life paths and different lessons, you know, like they're just here to guide us. I think it really flipped the idea of what a god is on its head for me, because growing up in a Baptist church, and I went to a Catholic school in elementary school, like just what I know about religion, what I know about different deities is that they are all powerful, almighty. And Yemaya was very much just like, hey, I'm a girl, looking for my man, girl. I just want to find the love of my life. And apparently y'all know who I am, and apparently I have powers that I need to figure out how to work, and what am I supposed to do with this, and all of these things. Like, you really got to grow with this character. And it really made me curious to read up more on, you know, African deities and who they are and what they, you know, to read more up on Yemaya and what the story actually is and how close it was to what was written in this book. It also brought up the importance of community to me, because in each aspect, like in each case where she was somewhere and something was happening to her, she there was a community of people there to help get her to where she needed to be. And I think that's something that lacks in this day and age. I feel like a lot of us are, and I'm guilty of it, I'm totally guilty of it, we want to do everything by ourselves. And totally, that is definitely a trauma response, because we don't want anybody to be like, well, you owe me, or I helped you do, or whatever the case may be. So it really was cool to see that everywhere that she went, people could see the light in her, right? Like, people knew that she was a part of this bigger thing, and they wanted to help her get to her purpose. Like, that's powerful in itself. Because even this God, this deity, didn't do it alone. She didn't get to where she was by herself. Even though her name alone rings bells, there were still people around her that needed to help her, that needed to teach her things, trials and tribulations that she had to go through to get to where she needed to be. So it was a really, really good read. I think at first, when I first read it, I kind of just was like, she's a god, why is she going through all of this? But then, like, once I sat with it, I really could see the vision. Like, it's trying to teach us a little bit more than just like, you're never going to get to where you need to be by yourself. You're going to need a map, a lunchbox, excuse me, a whole bunch of stuff you're gonna need to get to where it is that you want to be. Like, you can't do everything by yourself, and it doesn't make you any less of a magnificent person because you needed help. That's what I got from this book. So I highly suggest you guys read it. It was really, really good. I liked the how the author intertwined real people into this book, and how she depicted those characters. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, overall, I really, really, really enjoyed it. I think you guys should read it. If you do, let me know. If you've read it already, let me know in the comments. If you plan on getting it, also let me know that too. If you've made it this far, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends and other book nerds that you know. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. If no one's told you today, I love you. And you are kind, you are smart, you are important. Bye, guys.